Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode
8.
1 below 9 or 1 above 7 samurai of Lesbian Talk. I'm your
Mm.
host, someone who's terribly exciting to listen to, and this is my wife.
It's me, the Omega Geek, but then you knew that because it's time for Lesbian Talk, like it is every week. Yay.
Listen to this, guys, listen. Can you hear that?
I can hear nothing.
Well, there's something very faint happening in the microphone. I'm totally playing with my ring and chain.
Yay.
Doo-doo-doo. Well, yeah.
Kippers is here, sitting next to me, although not being vocal, because that's what Hagen wants, and so he will never do it.
God damn it, I want Kippers to say stuff.
Kipper, say something!
One
He's
of
just
these,
looking at me.
one of these days I will edit an episode and I will just add in random cat sounds.
I don't want you to do that.
It'll be great.
No, well, because you'll be like, what's wrong with your audio this week? I'm like, no, Hagen did it, just I don't want to talk about it.
That's why he's like meowing every so often.
He just yawned. Now he's licking his paw.
Aww.
Actually, I hope the mic's not picking that up because it'll probably sound really horrible.
Aww. Well,
But anyway, how have you been, my dear?
I have been exasperated. I was not here last weekend because I went to Ingerland for a wedding, for a silly heterosexual wedding featuring two heterosexual people of heterosexualness.
You were in the small town of Hofferscumps,
Of
England.
Stayford, and where I went to university. And actually, I could talk. If you want to come back to this later on, I could talk about
Boggles and Trigo!
I could talk about the incredibly geeky nature of the wedding.
Yeah, you know what? We should talk about that later on.
Okay, so then we will go straight into the magic word from last week.
Which was antiseptic, which is kind of an unpleasant word, actually, because it really has, like, medical, surgical, dental connotations.
Yeah, and those things are incredibly fun.
Like, antiseptic, like, it's a cold word. Like, immediately you think of, like, the smell of rubbing alcohol and, like, cold metal in
If
a procedure.
if only I'd chosen a number one further, then it could have been anti-skeptic, and then we could have bitched about people who are, really, really gullible.
See, that's what happens when you don't pay attention.
Yeah, whenever we're
Actually, it's not all bad. My friend Brendan, who lives, he's the one that moved to Dublin many years ago. But we were at a party years ago, and it was one of those all-night, blockbuster party. I think it was either at Bill's house or Alyssa's house. But a bottle of Jack Daniels was making its way around the little circle of people, and I handed it to Brendan. He goes, "Oh, thanks." So then he takes the corner of his shirt, and then he like wipes off the mouth of the bottle. And I said, because I was pretty drunk, I was like, "Brendan, what are you doing?" And he's like, "No, because germs." I said, "Brendan, it's alcohol. That's its job, is to kill germs." He goes, "Oh, right, right, right," because he was that drunk.
alcohol
So
kills germs.
yeah. Oh, come on, you knew that.
Of course, I'm sure it's in a screenplay I wrote.
But so whenever you actually get to meet him, and I'm sure it will be soon if all of our plans come to fruition, you can be like, "Hey, you were the guy with the Jack Daniels." He'll be like, "Yes, yes, thank you."
Hey, honey, what do you call something coming to fruition that's really, really camp?
I don't know what.
A plan coming to fruition.
Oh, you're fired. Fired from Lesbian Talk.
Okay, fine.
Turn in your
Okay.
lesbians. I can tell that you didn't really hang up the call. Well, it's time for the Me Show today on Lesbian Talk, and we're going to talk about things that I think are interesting, like the color blue and rice noodles and Dave Matthews Band. So let's start with Dave Matthews Band because he's better than metal. Yuck, who listens to metal? Nobody. So I first started listening to Dave Matthews Band, I think in 1997. No, wait, it had to be earlier than that.
Dave Matthews
Um,
Band is only less good than Famous Dave's.
well, that's a food place, so they're different. And hi, I thought you hung up.
I didn't hang up. I removed my microphone for a while.
I see. Well, you missed a startling diatribe on what I think is awesome. No, you know what? It was 94 that I started listening to Dave Matthews Band because that was the year that I was a junior counselor at Arrowhead Country Day Camp, and that's when I bought Under the Table and Dreaming.
Hmm.
The more you know.
But on the subject of antiseptic,
Oh yeah, that's right.
we have to come up with amusing things about hospitals now.
Well,
In
as a child, when I was real little, about like between the ages of 2 and 4, I had a whole series of eye surgeries at Children's Hospital in Philly. That's not
Nice.
really interesting to anyone except me.
You're all like, oh, they're gonna buzz me in the eye with stuff. Nah.
Actually, no. The thing was that I was too little for them to give intravenous narcotics, so I had to take it orally, which didn't go over so well for them, because I think at least 2 nurses got thrown up on in revenge.
I think that's probably quite common in a children's hospital.
Yeah, I mean, they were real nice about it.
I think
Also, like, I didn't really understand the concept that the anesthetic would put me to sleep. Because when I was a little kid, you know how hard it is to fall asleep when you're supposed to. So I thought it was like I was going to have to lie there till I fell asleep. And this poor nurse, there was a really nice pediatric nurse who was kind of like in charge of me. And she's like, okay, now you're just going to lie back down and you're going to breathe in. And I want you to think of happy flowers and fields and stuff. And I remember saying, can you be quiet so I can go to sleep, please? Because I was a little smartass child.
I once was I'd been had anesthetic for an operation, and the doctor, the surgeon, was sort of looking over me and he asked me if I was nervous, and I said I was, because I'm always fucking nervous when I have an operation.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
who isn't?
yeah, and
Michael
then
Jackson, maybe.
and then he said that it's okay if you die, you'll be reincarnated. And then whenever I said, and then he asked if I was, and then he sort of burst out laughing really, really sort of sadistically quite loudly. And the last thing I remember before I went unconscious was him walking away from me, sort of skipping happily and banging his head on the light.
Do you think that you maybe hallucinated part of that?
It's possible. It's entirely possible. But I do. My last thought was, well, I'm gonna die.
Well, the last time I got anesthetic was this summer. I had to have all 4 of my wisdom teeth out, and the bottom 2 were quite deep in the jaw. So, the oral surgeon actually, she was really nice. So I was really nervous about this, and the one dental nurse was kind of mean. I didn't like her, but they put on the blood pressure cuff, and it stays on, and it goes like it takes your reading every 5 minutes, which kind of unnerved me, because once I was at an ER and the machine didn't stop, and the nurse goes, "Oh shit," and had to pull the plug. So it's kind of I have a complex about that. So they that was going on. So the oral surgeon comes in and she puts this mask on, which is a blend of nitrous and oxygen, but it had a hole in it. She's like, so you still get oxygen, you still get like enough oxygen to not die. And she goes, I just need you to breathe normally. We're also going to give you intravenous, so just don't worry. This is just nitrous oxide. I was like, okay. And then she was like, some people like they call it laughing gas. Some people, they laugh or something. So if you start to feel weird, don't worry about it. It's kind of people said it's a little bit like being drunk, and I was like, oh. And then all of a sudden, I was talking about college. I was like, well, I was in Shippensburg. My roommate came home stoned one time, and I was just like in the middle of this long rambling story. I'm like, why am I telling this? I'm like, oh right, because I'm drugged. And then she's like, okay, now hold on real quick. And then there was an IV line in, and she's like, okay, you did great, so we're gonna start whenever you're ready. And I remember them like putting my arm on my stomach and closing my eyes. And I remember at one point I heard the cuff go off, and then I physically felt when they injected the Novocaine, but I didn't feel any pain. I was like, oh, this is handy. And then all of a sudden they were like, all right, sit up. Okay, you did good. I was like, what happened? She's like, no, we're done. It's like an hour and a half had passed. But like, I look back so fondly upon dental surgery because I felt like so happy and comfortable and nice while I was on the drugs. Like, yeah, I got my teeth out and it was great. Although a few hours later, when everything wore off before I'd taken new medicine, that was kind of really horrific. And then I got really sick. So
I had some dental surgery in December and it was okay, but
I was surprised how, like, you were like, yeah, I'm fine, things and stuff.
I could barely talk because, like, my face was inflated, and I actually had to grab my lip and sort of prise my mouth open in order to put pills into it. But
That's fun.
yeah, But the next day I was being stupid, so I was like, I'm gonna try some regular food. It's like, oh no, I'm going back to pasta for the next couple of days.
Yeah, literally, like it. No joke. Like I lived on like fruit, those like blended fruit drinks and pudding and Jello and Heinz spaghetti, actually, the kind that they sell in yours, because it's guys. If you don't know, if you're able to get your hands on the Heinz like canned spaghetti or like their equivalent of SpaghettiOs that they sell in the UK, do it because literally there's nothing in it except tomato sauce and noodles. There's like very little preservatives, very low in fat and calories. I was shocked compared to like Chef Boyardee's.
So
So there
now
you go.
you know.
We're fascinating today.
We're absolutely terribly fascinating. But in hospital-related news,
Oh yeah.
the best level in Left 4 Dead 1 is the fucking hospital. It's
Why?
it's really badass. Okay, Left 4
Oh.
Dead is basically it's a fast running zombie thing, but it's a movie, but you're one of the main characters, and it's like a first person shooting game. You have to try and get to a place to get rescued. Now, the hospital area, you start off at the lobby and you got to fight your way up the hospital past armies of zombies, and towards the end, like you're coming out to this part of this floor where the wall's not there, and it's really really cool. And then at the end, you got to call the helicopter to come and pick you up, and you got like armies and armies of helicopters coming after you. The game, it's written in such a way that it throws everything at you to try and kill as many of you as it can before the rest of you escape.
See, that sounds like so not fun. Like I hate to be this way, but I was over zombies like 2 years before they got big because that one group of nerds that I knew or who were like obnoxiously pretentiously into things were really into zombies, so I was so done with zombies like before they were big. I'm a hipster that way, I guess. Like
Oh.
everyone's like, you should watch The Walking Dead. I'm like, no. Are you excited for the World War Z movie? No.
Well,
Done with zombies.
I'm fine with zombies if the thing that they're in is good, and Left 4 Dead, it is good. It's a very, very cleverly made game.
Well, I mean, that's what everyone said about it. I'm sure it's very enjoyable, and I hope you enjoy yourself.
I shall make you play it at some point.
Well, if everything comes to fruition, or fruition, as you like to say, and we are in the same country soon, we could. I want to get a PS3.
Well, I have a. You can get the PS3 and we can use it as a Blu-ray player. I already have an Xbox.
Well, that's what I figured. So if we wanted to play anything Xbox, we have yours, and then I have a PS3, and because I have been loyal to PlayStation since the PS1, so.
Sounds good. But
Woohoo.
now we have to do a cunning sideways remover from antiseptic and hospitals and stuff because it really, let's be honest, it wasn't a subject that was going to last anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, wow, what kind of unpleasant medical things and memories can we dredge up? It's antiseptic.
So, what's our second subject?
Well, something really kind of big happened in your country this week.
Yeah, there was snow.
No, no, no. You know what I'm talking about.
Um, Gay marriage got another big step towards being legalized in England and Wales.
And also, they found the king. Amen.
Yes, they found King Richard III, the last Plantagenet.
So what now happened?
Plantagenet, it was the name of the royal family before the Tudors.
Oh.
They were, it was like the last ancestrally Frenchish royal family.
Yeah, I was about to say, was that like a Norman name? Because that sounds French.
I'm not exactly sure where in France or what connection. I'm not even sure where they come, like direction from William's ones. I think possibly there was a lot of blood from one of William's generals in there. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, they were French ancestry.
Yeah, for a country that hates the French so much, you guys are like your histories are entwined, or at least that's what documentaries have led me to believe.
Oh yeah, UK and France invaded each other all the time. Usually, and the UK usually won. Not always, usually.
Why do I have the feeling that your dad got me a British history book because he thinks that I don't know proper history?
I don't know. He picked up this book when he was at a bookshop, and I think he was expecting something to be really groundbreaking and interesting, and he was like, "Oh no, this is a bit too lightweight for me. I'll give it to Amanda."
Boy.
Well, he probably thinks that what's considered lightweight for him, it would be sort of not lightweight for you because he has more of a in a he knows more about British history than you do.
That's true.
You know,
I mean, and I know more about British history than most Americans. Because when I was a kid, again, at the aforementioned Arrowhead Country Day Camp, one of the years, if you lived way out yonder in the counties, you didn't have to, there really wasn't bus service. So basically, they would have one of the counselors who lived nearby in their car pick up a few kids. So it was me and my sister and these 5-year-old twins, being driven by Uncle George. And Uncle George was the music guy at camp, but he was also like operatically trained. But in his real job during the year, he was a history teacher, and he taught European history. So what I would do, because it was about a 45-minute ride both ways, is I would go to him and I would say, "Hey, Uncle George, ask us a trivia question," and he would ask us something about like medieval Europe or England or something, and I would purposely get it wrong even if I knew the answer, and he'd be like, "No, you see, because things and stuff," and he would like launch into a lecture, and I thought it was fascinating, and my sister hated it. She hated me for that, but I got free education.
well, in the gay marriage thing, the Prime Minister David Cameron is a Conservative Party member. That's the rough
Ooh,
equivalent of the Republican Party. He is in a coalition government
the
with the
Tories. Dun dun dun.
with the Liberal Democrats, who are typically they're the most liberal of the three big parties in the UK, which is a bit odd. Um, um, and David Cameron was the one who was pushing for marriage equality. Really surprising, to be honest. I think he's trying to. the The Conservative Party has never been pro gay, and it's never had gay fans. And back in the 80s, Margaret Thatcher had a piece of
Margaret
legislation.
Thatcher, panty snatcher. I'm gonna
She
call her that forever now.
she had this piece of legislation that basically made it illegal to talk about homosexuality in schools. And this was interpreted in such ways as if a child's getting bullied for being gay, the teacher won't do anything about it. Ways like that. And that was in the UK law books for about, well, it was over 10 years, probably up to about 14 years. It was the Labour government got rid of it, but
So they had a for real don't say gay bill.
in UK schools, yeah, and
That's
the UK but it was got rid of, and
oh.
the the gay people basically en masse have not forgiven the Conservative Party for that. But David Cameron, he's attempting to make the Conservative Party lose their appear more moderate on social issues. So he's pushing for gay marriage, and the heads of all three parties are supporting it. And unfortunately, they went through a vote. It's not actually the finished vote, but almost everyone from the two smaller parties voted for it, and about half of David Cameron's people voted for it, and about half of them didn't. And it's amazing the amount of insane old school conservatives who've been coming out of the woodwork about this issue. It's a bunch of insane old men basically being all like, "Arr! Arr, 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 arr." These people who, were probably annoyed when homosexuality was legalized in 1967.
Yeah, but didn't like a recent poll show that like literally 3/4 of your country is in favor of this?
Yep. They don't care. Like, for instance, I just discovered that there is an MP a Conservative MP in the UK called Sir John Stanley, who says that legal gay marriage should not be legalized because a lot of teenagers who think they're gay in their teenage years will turn straight later on, and having gay marriage will just encourage them to get married and therefore stay with their same-sex partner when they're straight.
Yeah, but wouldn't there be the same pressure for them to get straight married?
I don't think he cares. All I can think about this guy is 71. He went. He's an old school rich bastard Tory. I'm thinking he did a lot of experimenting with boys when he was at school.
Yeah, you know what it seems to me like the arguments against gay marriage are usually male based. Like they really never bring up lesbians, and I don't know why. Do we not exist?
Oh, Miss Lixalot, you don't exist.
Like all you ever hear about is the gays and their sodomy and the boy touching and things and stuff. You very, very, very rarely hear about lesbians, and when you do, it's because they're quote unquote feminists.
Um,
So really, I think that people are afraid of two men getting married, but
I,
two women, that could be kind of hot, I guess.
yeah, pretty much. And there's other reasons too. Like the homophobes do not like the fact that the in the studies about who makes better parents, on average, lesbians make better parents than heterosexual couples.
We're the best.
And that's another reason to ignore lesbians, I guess.
Oh, I guess.
It's
Which is weird because, like, I mean, no offense to people, our listening audience who have children, but like, I always hear my coworkers talking about their kids, and every time and every conversation, I think, oh, thank God I've got a cat. Cause like, if he's being obnoxious, and I can just put him in the bedroom where his litter box and his food and his water are, and he'll just sit there or lay on the bed, and and it's not considered any kind of child abuse or anything like that. Or if I need to go away for 3 days or something like that, I can have someone come and look in on him, but I can just leave him be, and it's not any kind of abuse. And there you go.
see, Omega does not like people who abuse cats.
Exactly. Well, no, it's just because like raising a child sounds like an awful lot of work, and I'm really tired and stuff.
But this guy, Sir John Stanley, he also stated that on record that he did that gay marriage was pointless because it would not achieve equality in law.
Oh,
So
really? How's that
so
now?
I don't know, but he's like, I don't think that this will achieve equality. Therefore, I'm going to be against the achieving of even what I call a slightly bit more equality.
But well, is it because of you guys have those weird inheritance laws?
I don't know. He didn't really specify on that. It's just a ridiculous statement by a guy who's very old, who should have retired a long time ago, who is a frankly dying breed.
Well, the thing is though, but like I'm sick of people saying, "Oh yes, but see they're old, so they're allowed because back in the day." No, that's bullshit. My babchi, my mom's mom, my grandmother, she's my last surviving grandparent. She's in her early 90s now, and she grew up. Like European Catholic, in like the 20s and 30s and stuff like that, and like she's just lived her life and things and stuff, and she basically had no problem with us getting married. Like, my uncle Joe called her. I don't know why Joe called her to tell her, but it was, when we put it on Facebook, and she was really excited. She was really happy that I was getting married, and she seems to like you a lot. So it's you can't really say, oh, because old people, because no, because there are some old people that are great and awesome and just
Oh,
don't
I
care.
know. I wasn't commenting on
Oh
anything
no,
like
no,
that.
not you. I read this opinion article like 2 weeks
Oh yeah.
ago about that.
Oh yeah. I maintain that regardless of age, if someone's being a hateful twat, they need to know it, and they need to be treated like it. But this guy, I'm just saying, this guy is retiring at the next general election, which is 2014 or 2015. UK general elections aren't
Well, then
set
he
in
doesn't get
stone.
a say if he's going to be retiring.
He's
And
he's he's going to be retiring at the next election.
oh,
Marriage will be legal before then. But he he should have retired a long time ago. He's an out of touch twat, and he's part of a literally dying breed.
I think that I mean I know she's not supposed to, but I think the Queen should say something because everybody will listen if she says she'd be like, "We're not abused. Everyone should be nice and get married." The end.
Yeah, the Queen's very, very liberal.
Well, I mean, wouldn't she want a condition where all of her peoples are happy and like united and equal and stuff like that?
Well, the Queen, on one hand, she's very, very liberal, and interviews yesterday, this like Margaret Thatcher commented that one of the things she didn't like about the Queen was the fact that she knew the Queen would never ever vote for her. Um, but the Queen,
Queen probably saw that on TV. Was like, "Damn right,
the
bitch."
the Queen, but she also takes the rules about the job very seriously,
That's
which
what she
includes
wouldn't say.
which includes she's not supposed to comment on politics.
Good point.
Prince Charles doesn't take it that seriously, and honestly, if keeps that up whenever he's king, it might hasten the demise of the royal family.
Oh,
It might. I doubt.
I
I
think it's cute that you guys have a monarchy and stuff. It's like old times,
it's
but now.
it's a direct connection to the past, which is one of the parts I like about it. But I I'm thinking that the Queen will not, however, be the last monarch of the UK. It's going to go on. Charles will have a short reign, and William will take over, and William will probably be more like his grandmother than his father.
Well, he seems classy enough. I mean, never met him personally, but
Uh, he's he's probably more thing. He but anyway, we've talked about LGBT marriage, and the marriage. It's not legal yet. They got like 4 steps to getting something legalized in the UK. The past step 2, you've got like a committee thing, and then you've got the House of Lords.
Well, yeah, but I read an article in the Guardian like this morning that says that a lot of the conservative lords are pissed off and they're going to vote against it just to spite David Cameron. Well,
Well,
will that get it turned down? Are there enough? How many are there? Is it like the Senate where there's a set number of lords, or do we have enough on
um,
our side?
there used to be every lord in the UK had a vote in the House of Lords if they went there. Not anymore. Now it's a case of government. Now it's mostly governments will sort of give lordships to people, let them go in the House of Lords, so that the numbers are static. And I don't know what the makeup is. It's an entirely non-democratically elected house. It's full of
Is Christopher
appointments.
Lee in the House of Lords?
No, he's not a lord. He's a knight.
Oh, he should be in the House of Lords. That'd be cool.
It would
He'd
be
be like,
cool.
"Stop being douchebags! I'll kick your ass."
Do you know who was in the House of Lords before
Who?
before the legislation to cut down on the amount of lords? And it was
Who was it?
Jamie Lee Curtis's husband.
I don't know who that is.
Jamie Lee Curtis, the actress who was in Halloween and
Yes, I
True
know who
Lies.
she is. I don't know
Her
who her
her
husband.
husband is Christopher Guest, who
Oh,
was the writer and director, well, the writer not director of Spinal Tap, and he
oh,
he played one of the band guys. He also did A Mighty Wind and Waiting for Guffman. He's a comedian.
oh! I saw the Mighty Wind. I saw it with Sam and this girl Elaine, who Sam was dating at the time.
Well, he's a Canadian comedian, and he is technically a British lord.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's odd. But yeah, the equal marriage is not going to affect Northern Ireland or Scotland. However, Scotland's got gay marriage going through, and it'll be legalized probably around the same time as the rest of the UK. Northern Ireland, however, unless it's
Hates
forced on
fun.
it,
They hate fun and love and
yes,
liberty too.
Northern Ireland will not have equal marriage until it is forced on them, or they get embarrassed into changing their rules. The the unionists, the ones who prefer being with the UK, who quite often have like a big streak of, we think that the UK should run us directly, from Westminster rather than running it from Northern Ireland, because that way the Catholics and the nationalists don't have as much say. Even they're saying that when equal marriage comes in, that they're going to stop wanting that, because that would mean if Northern Ireland was run directly from the UK could force gay marriage on them. Gay marriage is so strong that they'd rather keep working with the nationalists and the Catholics in Northern Ireland than actually work with the UK.
Wow, your country's a fuckwad. I mean, no offense or nothing.
Yeah, Northern Ireland is, but it's in Israel. The one thing that was managing to bring Christians, Jews, and Muslims together was their hatred of gay people. Gay people are the great uniter
I
against the
feel really
gays.
sad about my life right now.
It's the uniter against the gays. But we've talked about that for a while. What are we going to talk about next? Ta-da!
Well, I think it's coming up on time for some Nanowar.
What is the song we are playing?
I don't know. You sent it to me and I saved it, but I don't have that up anymore.
Oh no.
It's some song about skulls, probably, and Vikings, and mead, and death, and darkness, and skulls again,
And skull hammer, skullhead fist. Rah!
and
No,
like Happy Viking or something.
no.
No?
Actually, it's called something else.
What's it called?
I'm trying to find the name of the song. It's long. Okay, I got it. It's called Nanowar. The true forest and the only true metal. The true forest of the only true metal and other heavy minerals.
Oh,
It's about how the forest is full of metal.
but it's not really.
It is,
Mountains are full of metal. That's where you get ore from.
according to Nanowar, there's lots of metal in the forest because it's metal.
Because that's where they filmed the video.
I don't think they did it. Wait, they might have done a video for it. If they filmed a video, they probably filmed it in a forest.
They filmed it in the Electrodyne forest, made of metal and electricity.
Einsteinium.
Woo. But yes, so
Boo-boo, where's the Metal Ranger?
And we're back. That was, of course, Manowar!
yay. We should like interview them at some point because we always talk about them.
They should at least Nanowar. Oh, sorry, at least interview Gato Pansieri 666, who was the bassist and
Cat
the boss.
pigs?
Pansieri.
Oh,
He's the boss of the band, and he's a nice guy. Although if you talk to him about how it's good to have pineapple on pizza, he does turn full-on Italian culture fascist.
I enjoy pineapple on everything, not just pizza. So I don't think that really counts.
Well, I can tell you the story actually of him and me and pizzas if I have not already said this in
Yes,
this
please
podcast.
regale us.
Okay, I was over there filming this music video for the band, and we discussed pizza and different types of pizza because Italian pizzas are different from the pizza that is common in the rest of the Western world, which is of course based on American style pizza. Um,
So,
I mentioned pineapple on pizza. I think pineapple on pizza is okay. Um, and he went full on culture fascist. He was incredibly annoyed. How dare you have pineapple on pizza? That is terrible. That is awful. That is horrible. That is ah. He got so very very
well,
angry.
what do they have on pizza that's any? I mean, like
Well, in Italy, you don't even have like tomato sauce and cheese at the same time.
that's.
It,
Is it
it,
like a tomato pie, like in Norristown? They make a thing called tomato pie, which is like a square pizza
that's
with
more like it. Yeah,
like it's served room temperature, and it's covered with tomato sauce and then a fine dusting of Parmesan cheese, but
that
not like a coating in any kind of
that sounds more like Italian pizza.
bleh. I mean, I know that it's like an Italian thing, but I like the American version better because
You can get
I'm an
either
American and I fucking love cheese.
you can either get the red pizza or a white pizza. The red pizza it has tomato. White pizza has cheese.
You can
Um,
get white pizza here too. It just has like like some olive oil and garlic on instead of sauce, but still has the cheese and whatever else you like.
well, with you have all that. You have like various things on it. Some of them are a bit different than what we have here, but But I in my bag I just so happened to have a copy of this pizzeria takeout menu, which for the pizzeria that was really near where I lived at the time. So I decided to goad the angry Italian by giving him the menu. He got like down to the third thing in it, which was chicken tikka masala pizza,
That sounds good.
and
Although that would be something I wouldn't want cheese on because of the sauce. I don't think that would go well together.
he got so angry when he saw that he tore the menu in pieces. And in order to stop me from having to be a victim of violence from him, he insisted that the last 5 minutes had not happened.
Wow.
Then,
Dude takes pizza seriously.
well, he's an Italian, and then
I didn't know that was a requirement.
I decided, because you know the way I am whenever I come in a situation like that,
You have to
I
troll.
I said, okay, we're back 5 minutes.
Be honest, you have to troll.
That conversation didn't exist. So hey Gatto, did you know that you can get tikka masala on pizza in England? And he was rather angry and ran off and was really annoyed. However, a couple of hours later, we were in a car, and he stopped the car right beside this pizzeria takeaway, ran in, brought me out a menu, and gave the menu to me and said, "This is a proper Italian takeaway pizza! Pizzeria, that menu." And like the fourth one down was Nutella pizza.
Ew, I wouldn't want Nutella involved with cheese. I can imagine if you had just the dough and you put Nutella on it, and then like other things like maybe some fruits, like a dessert kind of pizza. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, he said it was a dessert pizza. I don't know what else was on it though. So I maintain that Nutella pizza is weird. So that is my Italian pizza story.
Well, I'm an American and I want cheese in everything. And apparently, like, we're known for that because when years and years and years ago, I worked for an Israeli telecom company, and one of the guys, actually quite a bit of the office was Israeli ex-military, but one of the guys, one day we were all getting lunch, and he wanted a hamburger, and I forgot about kosher, and so I was making the order for the office. I was like, yeah, and one hamburger. She goes, do you want, and the girl goes, okay, do you want cheese on that? And I said, hey, Rod, I want cheese on that. And he went nuclear. He was like, no, no cheese. Always, what is you with this country? Let's put cheese on it. I want cheese on this. I want cheese on this. Where's my petrol? Put some cheese on it. And he went nuclear. I was like, I guess that's a no. Although I did buy a magazine yesterday when I was done at work at the bookstore. It's the Food Network. It's this month's Food Network magazine, and it's the cheese issue. Apparently boasting 50 different mac and cheese recipes alone.
Oh dear.
I love cheese. I'm sorry.
Mac and cheese nowhere near as good as the one that we invented.
That's true. Although, honey, it was on sale yesterday at the grocery. I did get some goat cheese. I got a little bit of the spreadable kind that has cranberries and cinnamon. So we'll see how that turns out. But you know what it's long due time for?
A pizza which has like fried eggs and mushrooms and sausage and baked beans on it.
Oh God, why do you want to put mushrooms on everything? Why do you love fungus?
I don't. I just actually came across a picture of one. Here's I am linking you to this picture it's in a list from od.com of the world's weirdest pizzas.
Okay, yeah, I just saw the link. Baked beans also. Oh God, that looks. You guys, okay, I'll put this up as the thing. This literally looks like God threw up on a pizza. Like, this is horrible. This is the most vomitous, unappetizing piece of shit I've ever seen.
Oh, well, we're talking about this sort of thing. Yesterday, I went to Build-A-Burger in Derry, and I got one of their... Okay, now, for anyone who doesn't know, which is most of you, Build-A-Burger, I know there's two... they have two things in Belfast, and they've one in Derry. They might have others other places.
Build-A-Burger, build it yourself.
But you get to you get to choose between 4 different types of burger bun, and then you get like 5 different types of meat, and then you have like 78 different types of toppings, and you can have as many toppings as you want.
And gummy bears too.
Yes, gummy bears is one of the eccentric toppings in it. You can also get like peanut butter and apple and cranberry sauce and Cajun sauce and.
I would like it if it was gummy Coke bottles. That would be even better.
And blue cheese. But like yesterday, I tried the gummy bear.
How was it? How'd it go for you?
It depends what else you have in the bite, because whenever I had a gummy bear, but I also had a jalapeno, it worked really well. When it was a gummy bear without anything spicy, it didn't work well. So,
Build-A-Burger has some gummy bears.
So every so often, I'm going to go to Build-A-Burger just to try something new.
That's right, Build-A-Burger, right off the turnpike in Derry.
It's in Waterloo Place in Derry.
Is it in New Buildings?
No, New Buildings is a village that's on the other side of Derry from me.
New Buildings.
But New Buildings has Derry's best fish and chip shop.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the Village Fryer.
Why do I get the feeling that when I finally move over to the UK, I will be eating horrible things and at the same time losing weight?
It's possible. Well, whenever you're going to be over here for at least a little bit, I'm going to get you to try a couple of things around here. You know?
Yeah.
And hopefully it will be well worth it.
Well, of course it will be, because I'll be seeing you.
Aww.
No.
But yesterday in my meal, I asked for a cranberry sauce. They didn't have any.
Because it's an American thing.
Well, no, it was on their list.
Oh.
I always look through their list, and some of the things that were listed they didn't have. You know, they didn't have apple that day either, or boiled egg.
Oh, come on! How can you could just crack an egg and make it?
Well, boiled egg. They had fried eggs.
Oh, well, hard-boiled egg. You boil an egg for like 3 minutes.
You got to boil it and then slice it and then put it into the burger.
There's even I have a little thingy a little widget that slices a boiled egg for you.
Yeah, but it takes longer than frying it or something. I don't know. But they didn't have it that day. But I have to say, I do like, blue cheese and Cajun stuff and all. And they had like tobacco onions, which is like onion strings. And if you're in Derry or Belfast, look up Build-A-Burger. It's interesting. You get you have something like 78 million different possible varieties of burger.
That's really, I want a burger now. Thank you. Actually, I broke my vow of no beef, and I had a burger the other night when I went out with Mel and Steve for her birthday.
Oh.
And it was good. It had caramelized onions on it. It was really good.
Even though you're trying to, we're trying to get, you're trying to let me try venison. Build-A-Burger does venison burgers, and I have not ordered one with venison because I've been waiting because you want me to.
Well, I forget when hunting season is. I think it's the spring and summer. But the next time you're over and it's in the season, I will ask some of the construction managers that hunt for food if I can have some venison. Because usually like what Jackson will do is he'll bring in like venison jerky sometimes and he'll be like, "Yeah, there's a big bunch of chili in the fridge. It's venison chili. We'll try some." Everyone goes, "Ew." But I'll see if I can get some venison meat from like Mike or somebody.
I wish they had stuff like, I don't know, if they had other types of meat. Because one of the things you got, well, in the
Oh,
UK,
like at Fuddruckers?
there's places in the UK you can get more interesting stuff than Fuddruckers. Like whenever there's continental markets, which usually turn up around Christmas, you've got this sort of, it's all this burger thing. It's always there. It's meats of the world, and they have things like antelope and ostrich
I want to eat animals from all the
and
places.
and kangaroos, and you can get all these different things, and you can buy like alligator sausages and stuff, and you
That
could.
sounds really bad though. I'm like, I want to eat all of these creatures.
Well, it's
This is why I'm fat.
you've got it's like a big burger van, but it also
Burger
sells.
van. That sounds so skeezy. Hey, you want to come back and see my burger van?
Well, it's a thing. It's a van, and on the back you have a person. They sell burgers like street vendors.
Okay.
But they have their thing, and they also sell refrigerated stuff for you to take home, and it's quite cool. I think they should sort of unite these two things, that with the Build-A-Burger sort of idea with toppings. The burgers would be expensive as all fuck, but it would be amazing. Imagine like kangaroo burger with gummy bears or whatever the fuck you want, or even like, I don't know, a burger made of duck meat or something. That'd be really cool.
That's true. I had duck fat fries at this. We went to this gastropub as a reward for my department doing well last year, and one of their big things is duck fat fries, and we got a whole bunch of them for the table to split. It was alright. I mean, I wasn't like impressed. I got lobster grilled cheese, which was really good actually, because I had pickles on it.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
do you know what time it is?
Takeout time.
No, I know because he's been clawing at my foot for the past 5 minutes. We were talking. It's time for Giovanni's trivia fact.
Giovanni.
Yes, so if you're done talking about eating other mammals now, I'd like to present my trivia fact for this week. Is that okay?
Okay, it is fine.
Okay, so the fact is that Buddy Epstein, the original actor who played Jed Clampett from the Beverly Hillbillies, he was actually the original Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz. He wasn't able to film the movie. He actually had to drop out because of health issues. He was allergic to the aluminum or the tin powder that they actually used for the makeup, and he got really sick. Which actually is probably a good thing because the next actor who completed the part got really sick too. So. And there you go. And so, if you don't need me anymore, I have plans tonight, so I'll see you ladies later.
Little does he know, I put explosives into his car. His tiny, tiny lobster-sized car.
Hey, yellow taxi, I need a pickup. Yeah, my transmission's been acting up, so, yeah, I better leave the car alone for now. 5 minutes? Great, I'll see you then.
God damn it. Well, I'm making myself feel better by listing off some of the stuff so you can get and build a burger if you're ever in Northern Ireland.
I'm really hungry now. You guys don't know this. It's nearly 5 p.m. when we're recording this, and I was going to make shrimp stir-fry for dinner, but now I really want a burger.
Well, the top ones are all basic normal ones like lettuce and tomatoes and cucumbers, red onions, tobacco onions. Then you get into like pickled onions, spring onions, onion rings, mushrooms, bacon, fried onions, fried mushrooms, fried egg, some fried tomatoes, beetroot, that's beets, olives, pickles,
Oh, God,
jalapenos,
beets?
boiled
Oh,
egg, guacamole, apple, pineapple, gummy bears. And then in the sauces,
pineapple sounds really good. Like if you took the ring and you grilled it really lightly for like a few seconds on each side, that would be really good.
I had it in my last burger. There. But in sauce, you got garlic mayo, strawberry mayo, lemon and lime chili mayo, ketchup, chipotle ketchup, sweet chili, barbecue sauce, Cajun sauce, brown sauce. That's the British brown sauce, cranberry
Mayo's
sauce,
nasty.
salsa, mango chutney, burger relish, honey chili, tomato chili, sweet corn relish, horseradish, Thousand Island, mustard, pepper sauce, hot chili, Nutella, peanut butter, Tabasco sauce, Worcestershire sauce, Marmite, cocoa, and chili butter.
Damn. Damn.
Are you going to try this place out when we go to Derry?
Definitely, honey. How about that? You know what? If you fly me over, I'll buy you dinner.
We'll go over there and we can record it using using your phone, and we can put it online, and people can be all like, "Holy shit!"
We can do a little vlog.
Yeah, and you even get to make selections on what type of bread you want.
What kind of breads do they have besides bread? I guess like wheat. They have sourdough.
Now the most interesting one is called the Belfast Bap, which is Northern Ireland's national type of burger sort of thing. It's very hard on the outside and very soft on the inside.
Just like your country. Aww.
Aww.
Well, do you know what it's time for, though? Besides salivating over the idea of a burger, it's time for a little segment that I like to call One Time at the Store.
Does it involve burgers?
Does
it involve burgers?
No, we don't have burgers at the store. That'd be pretty cool, though, if we did. But for those of you who are just joining us this time, I've been working for about 9 years for a large chain bookseller, and I have a lot of stories. Some of them are pretty bizarre, some of them are kind of cool, some of them are funny, and some are just stupid, and this is one of them. So, on my second store, I was fully cafe trained, which means that I'm technically a barista. I'm trained by Starbucks standards, so I can make any kind of Starbucks drink. We had like Cheesecake Factory cheesecakes. We had all sorts of sandwiches and foodstuffs and things. So our cafe is pretty cool. But we do make the famous Frappuccino, and a lot of people don't know. We have the flavors that that are listed. But if you want to mix and match some stuff, as long as you pay what the thing is worth, like if you want to add, I don't know, if you want to add an extra flavor shot, if you want to add something from, like a blend of a banana into it, as long as you pay for all the parts of the drink, we'll pretty much do it. Like, I've even had a guy who came in, ordered a large vanilla Frappuccino, and then ordered a piece of original cheesecake, and then asked us to blend the two together. We did it. He probably died of coronary artery disease 5 minutes later, but we did it for him. But, so, this was a lazy Sunday afternoon, not very busy. A man and his wife comes in, and the man, I remember he ordered a drink that required the steamer, and she said, "I got something last time I was at the Starbucks, and I don't remember what it was, but it was cold and it was fruity." And I said, "Well, that sounds like a strawberries and cream Frappuccino." She goes, "No, it wasn't that." And I said, "Well, was it like an iced tea? Because we have the passion fruit iced tea that's pink, it's fruity." She goes, "No, it wasn't that." So everything that I suggested, okay, well, was it a strawberry lemonade? Because that's a blended ice drink. No, it wasn't anything like that. So what I ended up doing was I ended up creating a drink from the cream base that we use. So it was a non-coffee drink. Some of the passion tea base, and then substituting raspberry syrup instead of classic syrup, instead of, like generic sweetener. And this thing was amazing. This was Barbie doll pink, was the color of this drink. And so I poured out the drink for her, and then I poured some into a sample cup, and I gave it to the person I was working with, and they were like, "Wow, this is amazing." I tried it, and it was pretty fruity. And so she was like, no, this isn't it, no. And she walked away sipping it, and I was like, whatever. So I made her husband's drink. I'd use a steamer machine, and, I call it his drink, and he was like, "Oh, great, thanks so much." And she comes up, and then she says to him, not to me, who's standing right there, she goes, "Oh, honey, I remember where I had that fruit drink." And he goes, "Oh, where was it?" She goes, "Oh, I dreamed it," and walked away. And I was just kind of like, what? And he looked at me, he's like, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry," and he just walked away, and I was like, oh.
Still, that drink you invented really should have, gone on to become a regular thing. It's like how potato crisps were invented.
Mm-hmm.
This guy kept saying that he wanted, really, really fine fried potato with salt, and then it was never salty enough and was never fine enough. And after like 15 times of sending it back, the guy went, "I'll fucking show him." Cut it so very thin and fried it, and then covered it in fuckloads of salt. And then the guy went, "This is perfect," and it went on to become a thing.
Wow. The crisps we know and love today.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh, hey, I have some news,
Mhm.
which I think is news that you know. Isn't Manborg coming out in your region like tomorrow or this week or something?
Yes, Manborg is coming out tomorrow. Although
Yeah, cool.
by the time you listen to this, this was last week most likely. It's coming out on the 11th of February. It was already announced and delayed its release about 4 times in the last 6 months. However, I'm quite sure it's coming out because Amazon contacted me to say that my copy has been dispatched.
Ooh.
So
Dispatched, you mean shipped?
yes,
Hmm.
it has been shipped and it should be here tomorrow.
Well, so when's it going to come out in Region 1? Because we're more special, obviously.
Looking on Amazon.com, it looks like it's going to be out in April.
Meh. Astron 6 is the Canadian production company behind Manborg, and we saw it as a special showing at Troma Dance last year.
Hmm.
Troma Dance is the big film festival that Troma Studios puts on. And I don't know how to put this. It's kind of fucking amazing. Like, okay, it's not perfect, and the green screening is pretty obvious and stuff like that, but it's not crap special effects. Like, you can tell a lot of amateur effort went into this, and it's just kind of brilliant. And you know what really makes it is the writing. The script is fantastic. It's very, very funny.
It's so damn good. And hopefully, we'll be seeing other amazing films if we make it to Troma Dance in 2013, which is in Asbury Park again
Hmm.
in New Jersey. It's on the
And
12th and 13th of April, I believe.
yeah, so if you can make it, please do go because it's really cool. You get to meet Lloyd Kaufman, who is, for someone as famous as he is really friendly and really accessible. Like literally, I watched people pester him for a solid 2 days, and he was willing to film stuff. He was willing to film a bumper for Radio Dead Air
Hmm.
because, and then I tweeted at Nash, I was like, I have a present for you. You're gonna love it. He was very willing to do interviews, a really nice, accommodating guy. And a lot of the directors that he's worked with, well, they came and they did a talk, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they had James Gunn was there. Ty West was there. Like Ty West is less famous than James Gunn, but Ty West he did The Innkeepers and I think it's called House of the Devil. He does solid horror movies and James Gunn is
That's when we
doing
saw Chirpy.
yep and James Gunn is directing Guardians of the Galaxy for Marvel.
Oh, cool.
And a friend of ours, can I tell the story about what happened? This person who shall remain nameless went up to James Gunn,
Yeah.
and they're a big fan of James Gunn, and they were like, they were so psyched out. They're like, Mr. Gunn, I want to tell you how much I love your movie, Crank. Now, James Gunn did not direct Crank, or anything to do with any of the
Yeah,
Crank
wasn't
movies.
he thinking, he was thinking about Crank for some reason, that's why he said it.
Yes, but it's just funny that he had 1 second to make an impression on this guy whose films he really really likes, and he
Oh,
congratulated him for looking at a different film, and he spent the rest of the day literally kicking himself because James
like,
Gunn thought he was an idiot.
literally. Although the one thing about the area is in that time of spring the weather is kind of dreary. So if you're thinking, oh well, that's cool, we'll spend some time down a stroller there. It's not exactly warm, but the boardwalk is nice.
The
Restaurants
boardwalk
are
the
right.
boardwalk looks evil, especially when the fog just turns in it. Like the place looks like Silent Hill. It looks like abandoned Victorian boardwalk that's sort of falling apart. It's great.
I think I still have that picture. If I do, I'll put it up. But well, the thing was they were doing some renovations on the boardwalk, and it had been raining for like several days straight, and it was foggy, and yeah, it really did look like something out of Silent Hill. But if you have a chance to go to Trauma Dance, I recommend you do. Our friend Cryptic Psych, who he writes for a horror website, and you know what? During this part, I'll put the address up so you can go check out some of his written reviews. He went, and we got to meet him in person, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, Cryptic Psych's great. We met up with him again at Times Scare, the Nostalgia
Oh yeah.
Chicks Halloween thing.
But yeah, and if everything works out well, this is going to be something that Project Money Entertainment will be formally attending. So I'm
Yep,
pretty
and
hopeful on that.
in Truma Dance, they've announced a couple of the films that are going to be showing, and it's
Oh, really?
free. It's free to go, guys. They are showing the first night. They're showing the American premiere, I believe it is, of of Class of Nukem High 4, which is Lloyd's first movie he's directed since Poultrygeist, um,
Doo-doo-doo.
which is the film he talked to me about, that he was making this movie last Trauma Dance, about that he was making it. Then the next night they're showing a little film called The Taint,
The Taint?
and and Drew Baldick apparently is going to be there, the writer director.
Oh, that's cool. He followed me on Twitter the other day.
Yeah, he followed me as well. I think he found our review. But he's also doing special effects for Return to Class on Nukem High, so it's like he's become full-on member of the Tromaverse.
That's really cool, because you know what? The Taint was very clever, and I'm not just saying that because an old high school friend of mine was in it. It was, like, if you haven't seen our review, it's one of mine, so it's up on my blip. But I think you linked to it too, honey, so if you go to either of our pages, you can watch it. If you have a chance, go to their website, I think it's taintmovie.com, and buy a copy, because they're really brilliant, and we're hoping that now it has Troma distribution, maybe they'll be doing another movie.
I would hope so. And one of the great things about The Taint is they married a Peter Jackson ability to mix practical effects with people. Peter Jackson's early films had these amazing effects where people would get their skin torn off, and they would do jump cuts that were practically hot. They were really difficult to spot, and so you were not sure where the puppet was or where when it replaced the actor or whatever. But The Taint does that as well. But they sort of add really good CGI into the mix to make it even harder to work out what's real and what's not. It's quite astounding on a special effects level, so I'm really looking forward to their work in Class of Nukem High 4.
Woo. And you'll get to see it too if you come to Trauma Dance.
Yep, and that's where they got Chirpy last year. They sell a bunch of movies. It's a lot of fun, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, it really is. If you can go, please do. And hopefully in maybe another week or two, we'll have announcements about other cons. I know, honey, you're going to BroCon again this year, right?
Yeah, I'm apparently going to be a guest at BroCon. They sent me a message asking me about, whether I was available and, would I want to, and I said yes, and they haven't actually sent me, here, definitely going, but, I get the feeling I'm going because I'm a bit cheaper to get for this Irish convention than, say, Noah Antweiler, which they had last year, or Benzai, who they had the year before. I think I turned up last year just as a regular con goer, and they were like, holy shit, Dima DeHagen's in Ireland, isn't she? Fucking hell, we can just ask her next year. That's way, $50 on public transport is way cheaper than $700 for a flight.
Well, I'm not any kind of famous or anything, but I'm going to try to make it to Con Bravo. So I can have a con where I'm not running around like a crazy person.
Yeah.
Just see some Canadians and maybe do a crossover. I want to do another crossover with Derek. I need to pick a good book.
Well, you could do a crossover on World Without Men.
Did they make a movie out of that?
No, but it's a book.
Yeah, I know, but the video part of his show is, or the one thing is Better Off Red, which is I think it's always a movie that's been a book. But wait, Trollhunter wasn't. Well, I'll talk to him. We'll figure something out.
Does he not just do the book reviews anymore?
No, he does, but that's under a different thing. It's
okay.
Morning Readers Advisory. He has different branding.
Okay.
But yeah, so you may be going to Western Mass Con in August, right?
Yeah, assuming they they said they're interested, they want me to go to be, but they haven't sent me plane tickets or anything. I hope they send me, and I hope that convention's a success because it looks like it'll be fun. And then, we may or may not end up at other conventions. Watch this space.
Yeah, we'll hopefully have more information next week. But for now, okay, so it's time once again for us to turn to the dictionary. I have the Oxford American Dictionary in my hand, and honey, what page should I turn to?
478.
Okay. It's kind of like, the people that open up the Bible as a random page and let that be their fortune, whatever passage they pick. 478. But our truth is better, because our truth is the truth of the dictionary. All right, 1 or 2?
2.
Okay. Out of 16.
14.
Okay. Oyster, a kind of shellfish used as food, some types of which produce pearls inside their shells. Oystering, oyster man, oyster cracker, a small, salty cracker usually served with oyster stew or soup. So, the truth of the word of the Lord today is oyster.
Oyster. I have very little to say about that, but we can talk about seafood
Oyster,
in general.
a.k.a. an undersea blob of snot.
We can talk about seafood in general, and this can be absolutely hilarious.
This is true. But for this week, I have been the Omega.
And I have been someone else.
No, you've been Diamanda Hagen.
Apparently, I've been Diamanda Hagen.
And we've been lesbians, and you've heard us talk. Don't forget that we are now available on iTunes. There should be a link on the Project Million page. Also, if you search Lesbian Talk on iTunes, we pop as a podcast. I know that the past episode or two had some issues with mono and stereo tracks, but now we are all in stereo, so you can rest easy. So, we'll see you